jump on today. I know the Copper and Go Local team have been working closely together as we prepare for 2024. I'm the account strategist on the team. We have our full product team here today. We also have one of our owners, John Jordan, and I'll let you introduce yourself, John, as we go into it. But we're looking forward to diving into this presentation with you guys. And John, I'll let you.
Hey everyone, appreciate you taking the time today to chat with us. Looks like my video went off for some reason. My apologies. So appreciate everyone taking the opportunity to speak with us today. And for those that are watching the video, I am John Jordan. I'm one of the co-founders here at Go Local. I've been involved with the Copper account since our very first discussions a few years ago. First and foremost, thank you so much for the partnership. It's been a wonderful partnership over the last couple of years. And as with any partnership, there's, especially when you're starting one from the beginning, there's going to be some bumps in the road. And we had a few of those along the way, but we've made significant progress and made some really great strides towards advancing the platform that we built out in conjunction with Copper. And we're very much looking forward to continuing to bring proactive things to the table. We've got some exciting stuff to share throughout the webinar today, and look forward to any follow-up questions that you guys might have.
Yeah, and I can just say from our perspective, you know, we've obviously been in the industry a long time, and we've worked with all sorts of companies in every bit of every space, and we're obviously confident that Go Local has been, you know, the best choice that we could make here and the best partner we have moving forward, which is why we've decided to continue that relationship. And so we have all the faith in the world in Go Local's team to work with us and be the best choice for the facility. So thanks, Go Local, for obviously putting this on. That way all of our clients can kind of understand what's coming, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very excited. I know the team's chomping at the bit to talk through their individual pieces. So without any further ado, we can kind of pass it over.
Perfect. And just to highlight what we're going to be reviewing today, we'll be going over some self-storage industry trends, changes in search demand over the last couple of years. We'll also be going by product through the expectations and goals for each product in the 2024 year. We will also leave some time at the end to answer any questions you guys might have, anything that comes up. So we'd like to touch on all that at the end of the presentation. So with that, I'll pass it over to our team.
All right, perfect. My name is Chloe. I'm your SEO specialist. So talking a little bit about our storage industry trends, what we saw recently, kind of where we're at for 2024 so far. Really what we're seeing is that storage search demand does continue to be down. We're seeing it down about 13% year over year, about 21% compared to 2022. So really what this decrease in demand means is that there are less people searching for storage when there is more product in the market. So that makes it even harder to generate leads. It's more competitive, it's more expensive. So that's just something that we keep in mind as we, you know, look at 2024 and our programs.
And below we have our REIT information based on what the large competitors are spending as well. So we have what they spent in 2023 versus how they have spent to date, and then how they're pacing to date along with their projected spend. So just so everybody is aware, these are people that are competing in our markets that are like in the public sector. So we are competing with these companies on a regular basis in most of our markets. Some of the more rural ones, we see a little bit less competition, but in the bigger metros, we are definitely neck and neck with all of them in our auction sites.
And for full context, I'll add a couple more points. Back when we hit our peak all-time search demand in the summer of 2021, the REITs they recognized before anyone else the significant drop-off that came in the latter stages of 21 and into 22, and they started increasing their spending quite substantially in that same time period. And so that's when we first saw, at least from an industry perspective, some major changes happening in terms of how aggressive the REITs and some of the larger players in the industry were in terms of not only their ad spending, but some of their organic efforts. It became apparent to those larger players who were in tune with that drop in demand that even if they weren't feeling the pain quite yet from that drop in demand in terms of occupancy rates dropping, that it would be coming in the near future, and that the key to offsetting some of that drop in demand was going to be increasing visibility. And so all of this is brought to you research-wise and information-wise to keep that in context, that we're constantly concerned about our visibility and how visible are we when someone is searching for storage in our local market, and how can we increase our share of voice in that from a visibility perspective when people are actually out there actively searching. So if to Chloe's numbers, if we're down 13% year over year, then that's 13% greater visibility we have to have in the current year just to keep things even in terms of our lead volume in a given market. So there's that that downward trajectory that we're trying to overcome year over year, while simultaneously bringing enough to the table to grow and get occupancy back up. So just want to give that a little additional context.
All right, perfect. Jumping into our SEO program. So before I talk a little bit more about some of our plans for 2024, I did just want to revisit some of the benefits of joining the Copper domain. So being on that Copper domain, that's how you are part of the SEO program, and you're getting a lot of benefits from being on that domain. Outside of just the program, you're also getting the benefit of being on a larger site, a site with a lot of authority, a site with a lot of relevance, a site that we are continually working on and making updates to. So you get all of that as opposed to being on a separate domain, having maybe just 1 or 2 pages on a separate website. So one example of that is we did have a facility that joined right at our initial roll up in September 2022. That facility's done very well and continues to do very well. And when we look back at their performance, before they joined the Copper site to where they are now, we've actually seen a 47% increase in website views. So that's a great example of what a facility can see joining a larger site, being participatory in all of our different GLI programs and offerings. So did just want to touch a little bit on all of those benefits of being on the domain and being able to participate in a lot of the programs we're going to be talking about today. All right, so moving on to, for our 2024 SEO program, what does the SEO program do? What will we be working on? We have a lot of exciting things on our roadmap for 2024. We spend quite a bit of time doing things like on-page optimization. So those are the updates that are working towards what John talked about, that increased visibility. How do we make sure we're staying competitive in markets and ranking well for keywords, things like that. We're also working really closely with the Copper team to help lend our industry expertise. So to provide all of our, our data and our benchmarking so that, your team also has all of the visibility into what are the trends we see, what does performance look like at a facility level, all of that, so that we can see the impacts of all of our marketing efforts and also understand, what is the state of the industry and various markets. So very exciting program here in 2024. I'll talk a little bit next about what some of those changes are going to be compared to some of our previous years. So really for SEO, one of the biggest things is going to be overall, this program has just grown, and we're really excited to continue to grow with all of you as you add new facilities and expand your brands. So really the biggest change to our SEO program in 2024 is just that growth. It's allowing us to have more resources to provide more proactive optimizations, to more quickly and efficiently turn projects and ideas around, to spend more time with every individual facility, making those optimizations, reviewing performance, understanding what are those best next steps. So all of that is really what that large change is on the SEO front in 2024. So it's generally just an overall expansion, and we're excited to be able to spend even more time looking at all of your facilities and working on continuing to see the growth that we have seen so far in our partnership. So with that, I will talk about one of our main projects that we worked on in Q1. So we have recently rolled this out. And this is a great example of one of those benefits of being on the Copper domain as well. So this is something that everybody's benefiting from. So we did add a new footer to the website. And really what this footer does is that it helps provide additional linking to all of the facilities on the domain. So with third-party management does come some unique challenges in terms of how we participate in internal linking and things like that. And this is a great solution that we found for the domain to allow us to have all the internal linking that we need, because that's a ranking factor that's going to help all of that visibility, that performance, while still meeting the needs of everybody that's part of the Copper portfolio as well. So helping you all in seeing some of those results you're looking for on the organic side. So this was a very exciting project that we talked about a bit in Q4 2023, and we were really excited to roll out here in Q1. All right, and with that, I will wrap up the SEO section and I will hand it over to Hannah for paid.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm the paid specialist on your account, and we will kind of just review what our paid program is and the opportunities that you have within the paid program. So like the SEO program, there's some additional resources that are being put towards your guys' account, especially with the growth that we have. And the paid program is focusing on our paid efforts that the facilities are choosing to take part in, such as our paid search ads, the Performance Max, Facebook ads, and more. This program is working with all the organic efforts that Chloe is putting forth and that our content team is putting forth as well. All things kind of work together and really help boost your paid performance. So these are just some projects that we work on during the year, like auditing the keywords that we see, updating ad copy to keep it relevant, updating image extensions if new images are taken in the facilities, or adding video assets, reviewing our metrics and performance conversions to make sure that everything is performing accordingly, building new campaigns to expand the reach of our program, and then doing monthly budget recommendations, reviewing the performance, and then reallocating budget potentially. How paid media helps you is it's just the paid marketing that you pay for. If in a digital setting, it's all about the paid social, paid search, the display, and all of the other traffic that we drive. It provides quicker results than our organic marketing, and it's driving leads directly to your website. It helps to generate leads and brand awareness depending on the campaign type that you choose to move forward with. And then it drives our customer engagement. This helps you by, with your organic efforts, like I mentioned previously, adding that additional layer of assurance that your web pages are showing for relevant searches, especially when there's a lot of competition, like I mentioned with the reads. This just kind of goes into how we are setting up and monitoring your ads. There's a lot that goes into the paid perspective of things. So we always start with a campaign build, which means that we'll create a budget recommendation based on the location that you're in, your current occupancy, just a kind of a variety of information so we can create the best option for you. So we kind of just go through building that campaign after the budget is approved, going through a quality assurance check. When the location or the URL goes live, then we can push that campaign live. Twice each week, I also go in and check the pacing of our budgets to make sure that each location is pacing appropriately, which means that they're spending their money at an appropriate level. That way we know that our conversions are coming through at an appropriate level. And if a campaign is not spending on pace, jumping in and making some additional optimizations, and they could include some bid strategy adjustments, keyword adjustments, and more. Bi-weekly, we're checking the cost per click, ensuring that the keywords aren't overspending or underperforming. And then bi-weekly, we're also monitoring that cost per lead, again, making sure that one campaign or one ad group isn't overspending and underperforming. And then doing facility deep dives depending on particular locations that aren't seeing the performance that we would expect. Each month we put together a budget recommendation. We take a couple metrics into consideration when we're putting these together. The first being occupancy. Typically, I'll push budget a little bit harder if occupancy is below 80%. An additional factor that goes into that is impression share loss to rank. An internal metric that we use here is any impression share loss to budget that is greater than 30% means that we're probably losing a lot of impressions or potential conversions because we're not spending enough. Impression share loss to rank is also one that we look at. It's not as important as impression share loss to budget or our occupancy percentage, but if this is greater than 50%, there's potentially some other optimizations that we can make before we push budget. Conversions, we need to make sure that a campaign is tracking conversions before we continue to push budget there. If it's not tracking conversions, what do we need to do? Is it budget? Is it something else? And then our cost per lead, making sure that our cost per lead remains in line with the portfolio averages, and then making additional optimizations if we need to. So all of this kind of goes into play when we give a budget recommendation. For our campaigns to perform really well, the daily budget is something that's allotted based on our total monthly budget. So we recommend a daily spend of at least $10 per day, which is about $300 per month in just media spend. A typical click on average is costing between $1 and $5. So you would typically see 1 to 2 clicks per day with this budget. If your conversion rate is really good or your click rate is really good, you might see more clicks than that. In some cases, we might see less clicks. So it just kind of depends on the market and what people are searching for at that moment. We have a hierarchy of the platforms that we advertise on. For Copper, we prioritize our search ads before we move on to any other options. We have several Copper locations that have expanded into the Performance Max and Facebook ad realm, and then a couple that are in talks about geofencing, but we also offer demand gen display, digital billboards, and programmatic display. Those ones being our more brand awareness and brand generating campaigns that are a little bit harder to track conversions on. Search ads are our priority, as I mentioned, and these are the ones that if you're running a paid campaign, you're probably running a search campaign. They're our biggest focus. They're the ones that drive the most leads for us. Performance Max is pretty new to the account, but it's something that we've seen really great success with when it comes to driving leads. You can show up in a variety of places: YouTube, display, search, discovery, Gmail, and maps. This definitely just helps kind of expand where we can show up. Display is another type of ad within the Google platform. It is, like I said, just a display ad. It's more image generated and definitely more of a brand awareness driver. You can track conversions with this through the ads platform, but typically this one is a lower converting, lower click ad type. Demand gen is pretty new to the Google platform, and we've tested it with some storage partners, but we have not tested it on the Copper platform yet. This one is a new version of discovery ads. So you're showing up in a couple more places. While you're showing up on search and discovery and Gmail, you're also showing up with the YouTube shorts and in-stream video for YouTube. This platform also has the ability to do lookalike audiences, so you can target audiences that look similar to your current customer list. Additionally, off the Google Ads platform, we can utilize Facebook and Instagram ads. We have several storage partners that run Facebook ads and several within the Copper portfolio that do. This is more brand awareness, but we are able to set up and have set up custom conversions for Copper so we can drive reservations for your facility. Geofencing is another platform that is another ad type that we can utilize. This is using IP addresses for people that have been in this area or go to that area frequently, and you can target that IP address with a display type ad. This one is a lot more brand awareness. You're going to show up for people that have been there. You're going to be top of mind for them. Conversion tracking is a little bit trickier here. It's not 100% accurate, but we can use UTM tracking, which would track back to the GA4 platform and tell us what conversions we were able to get through the geofencing campaign, but definitely more of a brand awareness type platform. And the last type is digital billboards. This is something that's newer within GLI, but it's definitely an option, especially in the bigger metros where you might see some more of these and have more availability here. These are a little bit more expensive as they have a higher daily spend, but you are reaching a lot more eyes. And if you're showing up frequently, then you're able to reach a pretty wide audience.
Great. And then I'm Cameron. I'm the content strategist on the account. So I work hand in hand with Chloe in a lot of ways to just help get some of those on-page content items throughout the website. So this includes things like new locations, blogs, and then a couple new types of pages that we're going to be implementing throughout the year. So like I said, our focus is just writing and generating content that goes on the website that really helps out with organic ranking factors. And that's kind of our top priority. So the 2024 program is going to include a couple things that we've seen over the last couple of years. We've increased the number of blogs, and even though these aren't facility level blogs, they do just help overall site performance. And we can target specific markets with blogs if we're noticing some priority markets just not having the performance we want to see. That's one of our strategies to kind of target some of those markets. Some of the other things we're going to talk about are FAQ editions and market amenity pages. So the first one being market amenity pages. So these pages are they aggregate facilities. So whenever people are searching for storage, they're searching in their particular market, right? So it might be, we're looking for self-storage units in Overland Park, right? So we have created these market pages where all of the facilities within a specific market can exist on the same page. It doesn't make any changes to your actual facility page content. It just creates a supplemental extra page that will show up when people are searching those specific terms. So those market pages have existed for a while. We've added content to those throughout this last year. And then our next step is creating these new market amenity pages. That way, when people are searching for a specific amenity in their market, they're actually searching, climate controlled storage or 5x5 storage in whatever market it may be. And so we're creating these pages. That way we can bring our content just a little bit closer to what users are searching for. And hopefully this will help avoid competition between facilities that are in the same market, as well as just improve overall performance in that market because we have more keywords that we're ranking for. Another major initiative for us is adding FAQ editions. This is something that is being rolled out with all new content, new facilities that are being acquired within the Copper brand. And then we're also working on backfilling some of the facilities that didn't have FAQ sections prior to this initiative. So these are also significant ranking factors. Again, people search questions consistently. And so by recognizing what questions people are most often searching and having a specific answer, we're able to rank not only for just the organic keyword, but we're also able to rank for what we call SERP features, which are specific features that Google prioritizes. And FAQs are a significant one. So these FAQ editions are being made based off of performance evaluation that Chloe and I are doing and going through and adding these to some select facilities.
Perfect. So that does wrap up our team's presentation there. We wanted to leave some time to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions. Did anything come up? Are there any questions, any concerns of what we've reviewed so far? We did go ahead and we added some frequently asked questions that we receive pretty often just to answer anything that your team might have. So we can go ahead and go through some of those. If you guys do have any other questions, feel free to chime in. Anything that comes to mind, any questions that come up.
Perfect. Our first question here, this is one that we get a lot, is what does success look like for the Go Local team and the Copper team? So we're pretty aligned on what those success metrics are. One of those biggest ones is going to be conversions, right? At the end of the day, we want to get rentals in the door for you all. So one of the things that we're doing is we're making sure we're optimizing for specific keywords in all of your markets that are high value, that are the ones that are going to generate conversions, that are people actively looking for a solution. In this case, that solution being storage. And the metrics we're really looking at there are those rental button clicks from your facility page, as well as reservations, so holding that unit. Something else we're looking at is traffic. You can't generate conversions without generating traffic. So we're really looking at that visibility. You know, how are we generating traffic? How are we ranking? How are we getting potential customers onto your facility page so that they have the opportunity to convert? So those are really the two metrics that we focus on in organic the most. We have a lot of smaller metrics that we also keep in mind that help tell the story of performance and the story of, you know, the health of each of the pages and its visibility. But those are our two key ones. And I'll let Hannah take it away with some of her paid metrics.
Yeah, so for paid, we are also focused on conversions and leads, but our goal here is not to always drive a large quantity of traffic to the website, but a large quantity of quality traffic to the site. So we really focus on having the right audiences and location targeting when you build your campaigns, so that way we're looking for quality customers to click through and convert with us. They're wanting to look for storage solutions, so we're trying to find those ones. With that, we also are looking at click-through rates, cost per clicks, and cost per leads. So when users interact with our ads, they're typically clicking through to a page. That click costs us a certain amount of money. Typically, our average lately has been $1 to $5. When they click through to the web page, if they convert, that would be a cost per lead. And then another thing that we look at is our click-through rate, which is the amount of times that our ad is clicked on based on the amount of times it's shown, which will be our impressions. So those are the three big ones that we're looking at when it comes to performance metrics.
Right. So next we'll jump into another common question we get, which is, just explain basically how does SEO and paid work? Because it can be a little bit complicated, and it's something that definitely a visual helps with that. I apologize, it'll be a little bit small on your screen, but it'll be easier to see and everything is labeled for when you receive this deck later. But I'll start with organic. So what you have on the right there is a picture of what we call a SERP. That is the search engine's results page. And really what we see there is in red, that's the paid section. And then blue and green are really where we're focused on the organic side. So that's everything Cameron and I are doing in order to impact your organic visibility to help drive traffic for people searching things like storage near me. So what's in that blue section is called the map pack. That's your organic listings, your Google business profile listings. So that's every individual storage facility, and it gives them a button to ask for directions or to call the facility, things like that. And then that green box at the bottom is our traditional organic results. So that is all the blue links where they can click through to the website and actually see your facility page, make that conversion there. So our organic program is really focused on generating visibility and improving that visibility for the most valuable keywords so that you appear well in both of those sections and we're able to drive leads from that. Then I'll let Hannah carry on with paid.
Yep, paid is a way to advertise our units available and the promotions to users who are searching. As Chloe mentioned, the paid ones are in red. So paid typically shows up first on the page, which is why people like to advertise. They want to show up before their competitors. You won't always be first if you're using paid advertising. Sometimes people will outbid you and they'll show up a little bit higher than you. That's what we look at when we're looking at the auction insights. We can see who's showing up higher than us, more frequently than us. And we can work on a strategy to bring us either higher in the auction insights or work on a strategy to see what the competitor is doing that maybe we should try to pivot and do as well with our paid ads. Maybe they're bidding on certain keywords that we're not utilizing just yet, or their targeting's a little bit differently. So we can use kind of where we show up or how often we show up to base a lot of our performance optimizations on.
Perfect. So next we have, how do you determine ROI for all of these efforts? Before I talk through this, did anybody have any questions on those first couple of slides that we just went through? All right, perfect. So if you're trying to determine, okay, what is the ROI on everything that I'm doing here, you really want to look at your conversions. You want to multiply that by your customer lifetime value, divide that by your investment, and subtract your investment. So you want to make sure that you are converting those conversions from, in this case, rental button clicks to completed rentals to really best understand what that ROI looks like. There at the bottom of the slide, I do have all of those values in case you'd like to do this math on your end. And then again, on the organic side, really what we are looking at from a conversion perspective is those reservations and those rental button clicks. So starting to get that lead in the door for a rental and having a tenant in your vacant unit.
Paid focuses on very similar things for this. Obviously, ROI is calculated the same either way. But for us, we're able to calculate out a percentage of each lead that we generate, whether that's a rental button click, a reservation, a phone call, or a store visit, just because we can generate a little bit of a different type of traffic to the website. So we're able to break that out and see however many of our phone calls converted, or if we have a percentage that we know converts, we can use that to help generate our total ROI.
All right, perfect. So next, what can all of you all as facility owners do to help us have a really successful marketing program and help us grow together over the course of your time on the Copper domain? The very first one and the biggest one is going to be, tell us everything about your facility. Even if you think, oh, maybe this isn't important, it's great to share that information anyway. So that's everything from what kinds of amenities do you have to, is there a specific demographic that you tend to serve in your area? Are there certain things about this facility that makes it very unique from other operators? Is that, you know, hey, all of these units have electricity, or this vehicle parking is covered, or things like that. So those are all great things to tell us so that we can make sure that, you know, we are both accurately marketing every single amenity that a facility has, anything that may give it an edge over that competition, as well as, you know, making sure that we're highlighting what makes your business unique as a business. And from an organic perspective, something else that's really going to help is rolling up any existing domains or acquiring any redirects from old websites. So I mentioned at the beginning a case study where somebody that joined us at the very beginning in September 2022 at that original beginning of our partnership with Copper, they ended up seeing over the course of that year, they saw a 47% increase in website page views. Part of that is possible because we had that domain roll up without getting that redirect from wherever your facility may have lived before, if that was on its, you know, on its own domain, if it maybe was part of another website. If you don't have that redirect from an organic perspective for Cameron and I's efforts, we are starting from scratch, and organic is the long game at the end of the day. It's something that takes a lot of time to build and grow and refine. And then it's something that continues to change as everyone is competing with each other to try and be as visible as possible to potential customers. So that's a great way to make sure that you are setting your business up for success from the get-go. As soon as you start, you know, your partnership, as soon as you onboard a new acquisition, is to have that redirect, to have that roll up so that we can go ahead and start with any existing, you know, rankings and authority and anything you may have built, and then just continue to grow from there. Then I'll let Hannah wrap up with paid.
When it comes to paid, obviously we need the facility information like Chloe mentioned, but also we need to know what your budget is and what facilities that you want to run on what platforms or campaign types that you're wanting to run. So this would include primarily your search campaign, but additionally a Performance Max or a Facebook campaign if you're interested in expanding your campaign types.
Perfect. The next question is, what happens when I Google myself? I absolutely understand the temptation to Google yourself, see how everything shows up in the search results, things like that. And, you know, you will see your search result, but there's something to keep in mind with that as well, is that everyone is seeing search results tailored to them, to their search history. So unfortunately, that's not a very accurate way to check your rankings. Rankings are something that we, share and communicate with the Copper team regularly. So if you do have questions about rankings for, your particular facility or facilities, that's information that we have and we're happy to provide, and you can absolutely reach out to your Copper rep, and we'll get that data pulled. Unfortunately, just Googling yourself is so dependent upon your search history, your location, all of that, that you're not going to get a true understanding of organically how your facility ranks. You're just going to see, how do you rank when you search from your moment in time, from where you physically are, from everything you've ever Googled before that moment.
Any questions so far? We have about 2 more frequently asked, but any questions on anything we've reviewed so far?
From a paid perspective, when you Google yourself, there's a lot of things that happen. If you are Googling yourself frequently or you're on your site frequently, it's possible that your ad doesn't show up for you. So don't be alarmed if you Google yourself and you don't see your own ad. If you do see your own ad, do not click on it. You just spent your own money if you click on that, and you're not going to convert and things like that. So you're just decreasing your ROI. You're utilizing spend that could be spent for a customer that turns into an actual lead. So do not click on your ads. Aside from that, there's an auction that's taking place. And so if you're not as relevant as somebody else that's searching, you might not show up at the top spot, but you might show up on the second or third spot. So don't be alarmed if you're not there or you're ranked lower than you think that you should be. It's all just based on how Google determines where you should show up. It's a real-time, in the moment bid auction that takes place. And Google takes a lot of things into consideration when they choose whether or not to show your ad or where to show your ad. They're looking at things like our keywords, what our ad copy is, how we're ranking, what our click-through rate is, how we've shown up before, what our past performance is. So we're looking at a lot of things in order to determine when and where we should show.
And I just wanted to thank you guys, obviously, for this. I know you have 2 more frequently asked questions, but it's really important that our clients, they always have questions for marketing. Marketing's more important now than it's ever been, especially with as competitive as it is. And we are starting to see that busy season finally come back that wasn't there last year. So everything in the industry is much more positive than it was a year ago at this point. But just thank you guys for that, because I have a hard stop. Obviously, any of our clients, whether you're watching this on a recording or not, if you ever need anything, you let us know. But we're more confident than ever that Go Local is going to do an incredible job going forward with us to help get the facilities where everybody wants them to be. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brett. Okay. All right, we've got our final question. And Clay, I'll pass it over with you, and then any more time for any other questions, and we'll finish this out.
Perfect. Yes. So last on the organic side, this is a really great question. So what is the anticipated time frame for seeing improvement? So I just onboarded. When should I expect to see results? For organic, unfortunately, again, organic is the long game, and that is the case no matter what website you're on, no matter what program you're on. It just takes time. So really, we anticipate from launch, it's going to take 60 to 90 days for us to see, okay, here's where this facility sits, and then to understand, okay, what are our next steps? What optimizations do we need to make? What changes do we need to make? But we really need to give it time. And then every time we make an update, we need to give it another 60 to 90 days. The problem, if you don't give it that time, is you may have done some optimizations or had some strategies that really would have worked if you'd given them time, but you didn't wait long enough to see that outcome. So unfortunately for organic, waiting is a really important part of the process so that we can understand performance based on all our optimizations and strategies, and then understand where to go next. So after you onboard, we really anticipate, again, 90 days, we're going to look at that performance and see where do we go from here. So that it will be, you know, we have the content on the page, all of the page is up, it's got the units, we've got all the content on the page, all the metadata, things like that. Then Hannah, I'll let you wrap up with paid.
Yeah. So while paid doesn't help us improve the website rankings, they still do have that ramp up period. While ours is much shorter than the 60 to 90 days, it's usually 5 to 10 for most of our campaigns. There still is that period of time where it takes us to see performance start to come through. And then every time we do make a large change, like changing our budget, increasing or decreasing very substantially, changing any ad copy, pausing a lot of keywords or ad groups at one time, making bid strategy changes, we go back through that learning phase or that ramp up period again. This intermittent learning phase is typically a lot shorter. Sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 3 days. So every time we do make a big change or are making these big optimizations, we can see our campaigns go back into a learning phase, but they're typically quick and we're back running how we have anticipated us to continue to run. For Performance Max and demand gen, we've typically seen that 5 to 10 days be a little bit longer. Sometimes that one can look more like 15 to 20, but those are just a little bit more, there's a little bit more that goes into those campaigns because they're showing up in more places. So they're trying to optimize for all of the platforms that they're showing up on and not just in the search results.
All right, so that does wrap up our deck and our questions. I know if anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to your Copper rep. They are in frequent contact with us. I talk to the Copper team on a daily basis, so please feel free to reach out if any concerns, any questions come up. We will be sending this deck over, so everyone will get some time to review and read through. And if there is anything that comes up, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Tess.
No, I was just going to say thank you, Go Local, for putting this together. We really appreciate it and all the effort that you guys put into it. So looking forward to a successful year.
And I would say, again, thank you so much for your partnership. Digital marketing can be overwhelming at times for business owners who have a lot of things going on and they're concerned about running their business and on the side trying to figure out this whole digital marketing thing. And we understand that it's not something you have your hands in probably every day. I would just call out the things that the team pointed out that can really aid us in helping your business to grow as much as possible is a better understanding of what drives people through your door locally. Like what are you actually dealing with your local competition? What are the folks that are storing with you actually storing? Are there new business communities popping up around you where you want to drive more of a B2B type of customer? Any of that information you can glean from existing clients and future clients that come through your doors as to what are they actually looking to store and their needs is really, really helpful for us so that we can keep a pulse on what's happening in your local market and make sure that that's applied into our efforts, whether it be on the organic side or on the paid side. That's always really useful and helpful information for you guys to provide to us. So if you really want to be more involved, that's probably the best place to be involved is to funnel us information about the most common questions you're getting from your customers and the things they're storing and what you're experiencing with local competition. That's going to be very helpful in guiding us along the path to putting together the best possible digital marketing strategy for you individually.
And like John said, we're super excited for this upcoming year. I know we have some really great plans. I'm very excited. So again, if anything that comes up, we'll be right here through it all.
And we did have a question come through the chat from Joni asking about going over kind of like the reporting. So we did go through some of the metrics that are found on there, but we didn't go like line by line, all of the different things that are seen there, but we can definitely go through that with the Copper team and with the owner individually.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Anything else that's popped up? Okay. Well, thank you guys all for taking some time to join with us today. Again, we're very excited for this next year and don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you guys so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.